We welcome you and we are so glad that you are here. I'm Alyssa Foster. I'm your platform worship assistant today. We'll be joined by Priscilla Florence, who will serve as our prayer chaplain. Reverend Kurt Condra will do our lesson and meditation for today. And we are very blessed to welcome back Felina Bunn, who will be accompanied by Jesse Jeffries to provide us with some wonderful and soulful music to accompany our lesson. Let us take a moment now to center ourselves in prayer. Holy Presence, we know that in God we can never be separate from love, from truth, from infinite intelligence and the source of all good. Although outward circumstances may provide us with evidence that we are separate from one another, we know and we affirm that this is not the truth of the one God. So we gather here in this sacred time to open our hearts to that one power and one presence, and we gratefully receive the gifts and energies of divine light and love, pouring in and through us and outwards to one another. We affirm that we are here today for a divine purpose, and we trust that that purpose is now, in this very moment, being fulfilled, for we are in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of love and wisdom. And so it is. Amen. And now we will hear our opening song with Felina and Jesse.
There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to all creation, you are not alone. Lions and lambs, saints and sinners, best of friends, enemies, woman and man, losers and winners, they're all in you and me. We are one heart, looking for answers, one soul, fighting our way through the dark, one dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart. Out in the cold, there are faces hidden by the wind and the rain. Hold out your hand, someone will take it, bring you home again. 'Cause we are one heart, looking for answers, one soul, fighting our way through the dark, one dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart, of one heart, of one heart.
Thank you so much, Felina and Jesse. What a beautiful reminder of our unity. Each Sunday, we welcome all of us together, new and existing members, and it's important for us to listen to this reminder of what we're all about, whether we've been here for 30 years or 3 minutes. Unity is a positive, practical approach for spiritual living based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. We believe that there is truth and beauty in every spiritual tradition, and we honor the many paths to the one God. So wherever you are on your journey of faith, you are always welcome here at Unity. We have a purpose that was written specifically for our community. And again, it's really important for us to let ourselves sink into these words. Our purpose is to create a safe space where people are empowered to take risks and to live their deepest truth. So if this is your first Sunday with us, we extend a loving welcome to you. And this was very true for me. Coming to Unity many years ago in another state and time, I was just feeling very blessed to realize and surprised that there were people who thought like me and that there was an entire community where I was and around the world that could support my own faith. And so we hope that your experience is as powerful as the one that I had and that many people here today have had, and we hope that you'll return. If you're here in the sanctuary with us, please complete a guest card at the Welcome Center at the back. And if you're new online and you're on Zoom, maybe you can add something to the chat to just say hi, and I'm sure people will say hi back to you again. Now I would like to welcome Felina and Jesse back as they lead us in this morning's group song.
We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, we are one in light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light. We are one mind, we are one heart, one in love and light.
Thank you, Felina. Thank you, Jesse. Have you figured out? The theme of our music this morning is one. Ooh, it's beautiful, starting out beautifully. We're like branches and leaves on a tree. My name is Priscilla Florence, and I'm your chaplain on duty. And with me is my fellow chaplain at the candle today, Sharon Myers, with whom you may pray after church. As I read the daily word, let my words be your words. The light of truth shines in my heart. Like a kaleidoscope's shifting patterns of dazzling colors, my life is always changing. Some of the changes I may like and others I may not, but I accept the changes nonetheless. I enjoy pleasurable moments while learning and growing through the more unpleasant ones. No matter where I find myself along the spectrum of human experience, I take comfort in spiritual truth. God is changeless, my rock and refuge in times of struggle, and the wings that lift me in times of ease and bliss. I remain steady and calm even as I navigate life's inevitable changes, finding lasting comfort in the truth of God as absolute goodness. As I travel along my unique path, the steady light of truth shines from within me. And our Bible verse today comes from 1 John 2:8. Yet I am writing you a new commandment that is true in him and in you, because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. Know that I and Sharon will be available after service at the prayer candle. And those of you who are online are invited to place your prayers in the chat box. Someone will see those prayers and respond to you. And those of you in the sanctuary may see us in person. So now, take a moment to rest in silence, holding yourself in prayer. And now, as we continue to settle ourselves, let us hold in prayer all those who are suffering worldwide and think peace, peace, peace. And so it is. Amen.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay thee down. When you're down and out, and you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay thee down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay thee down.
Thank you, Felina. Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you. I looked it up today and I realized that song was written in 1969, so that's probably like 50 years older than you are, 40 years older. So thank you. Oh my gosh. I first heard that song in about 1972. I would have been about 12 years old. And my mother didn't have a lot of favorite songs, but this was one of them. Only she didn't listen to the arrangement that most of us are familiar with, Simon and Garfunkel's. She listened to what my 12-year-old ear heard as this really lame rendition from the Ray Conniff Singers. They would take pop songs and they would do these choral arrangements out of them. In my own mind, that just, so I hated the song. I really did. And then I had my first heartbreak. And I remember that's the first time that I ever heard Art Garfunkel sing it. And it was that, when you have your first love breaks your heart and it hurts from your throat to your belly and it just feels like you're broken open. I heard this song and I was like, oh, yes, I know what troubled water is now. I know what it is to need that bridge, and felt so supported by that. And since then it's come to mean a lot of Unity services use this song. It's often found in memorial services and church services. It's sung quite a lot. And I've come to sort of recognize that there's that line about, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. And that's come to mean, for me, sort of Unity's perspective about when Jesus lays his life down for us, right? In Unity's perspective, that was sort of like Jesus demonstrated for us. He gave himself so that we might know how to move through the crucifixions of our own lives, so that we might experience new life out of the challenges that we hold. And that's kind of been the context that I've held for this song, I guess for the last 40 years. And it sort of sets the stage for the new series that I'm starting for the talks that I'll be giving in June. I'm calling it Together as One. And it's really a recognition of those places where when we're individually, when we're sort of moving through our lives and we're working on our own spiritual growth and evolution and development, like individually, there's wonderful power in there. There's great capacity for evolution. But as we can come together sort of in oneness, as we can come together and have a greater capacity for knowing the power that we hold collectively, like that moves to another level. So that's what I'm wanting to address this month, all through the month of June, is we're going to look at the ways in which we can move from this idea of me into a more collective approach to living and being and growing as we. That's kind of the context that we're holding. And it brought to my attention a centuries-old story that talks about kind of just the nature of the universe. And I'm actually going to quote Rachel Naomi Remen. She is a PhD who also works very closely. Oh my gosh, Alyssa's nodding her head, so I'm imagining you know. She's a PhD in storyteller, and she also has had what was at one point thought to be a fatal illness, now chronic illness. So she's dealt with suffering through much of her life. She works a lot with cancer patients and has come to know a context for the power of being in community, the power of supporting one another in a way that really resonates with folks. So I want to, she shared with this, it's the story that comes out of her own faith tradition. Her father was a Jewish mystic, and he told her this story when she was 4 years old, and she sort of carried it with her ever since. So it's the story of the birthday of the world. In the beginning, there was only the holy darkness, the source of life. And then, in the course of history, at a moment in time, this world, the world of 1,000 things, emerged from the heart of the holy darkness as a great ray of light. And then, the vessels containing the light of the world, the wholeness of the world, broke. And the wholeness of the world, the light of the world, was scattered into 1,000 fragments of light. And they fell into all events and all people, where they remain deeply hidden until this day. I love that, and Rachel says that she regards this as sort of the context for humanity, the purpose for life, of why we were born to be. It's like in all of creation, this idea that these sparks of the divine have fallen into all people, into all events, call us to recognize that. They call us to acknowledge that with our own spirit, there is that capacity for the divine. And that as we move through light, as we move through life, as we move through times of darkness in our own experience, part of the human experience is to remember. Part of our capacity as divine sparks of light that have fallen from the source of all that is to remember and to see the possibilities for greatness that arise out of that. We see light where there is darkness, or at least we have the capacity to. And she says the most exciting and significant piece of that is that it's not only that we, like who understand that and who seek to embody it, it's not only that we have that capacity, but it's the capacity for everyone, for every person. And that same potential is innate in every experience, in every event. And to move into a space where we're able to call that out, and not only individually, but to call that out collectively, she says is how we heal the world, how we heal the planet. And I know that sounds incredibly daunting, and it sounds really idealistic, and it sounds like, yeah, great, that sounds really good, Kurt. And yeah, I believe it to an extent, but there's a space for most of us where we really, I think, or sometimes can be overwhelmed by the weightiness of the experiences that we're moving through in the world, by what we're seeing in the outer experience, that we really lose a true sense or a true passion or a true conviction that our light, our ability to see light can really make a difference in the world. So I was sort of working with that, and I wanted to find a way to speak to how we can sort of keep our own light alive, our own capacity for knowing that truth, for knowing that our purpose is really to be that spark of light in the divine. And it reminded me of another, oddly enough, Simon and Garfunkel song. It's one that speaks to light from the very beginning. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Everybody know where I'm going with this? Hello, darkness, my old friend. Just the idea that darkness can actually be a friend to us, that darkness can be sort of the impetus for how we move into a sense of lightness or joy or beingness, is really powerful and really beautiful. And so then I started digging into, well, where did Paul Simon get this lyric? What was that about? And found this beautiful story that I'd not heard before, that really touched from his college days, I think. And I'm gonna read this story to you like verbatim from a memoir by Sandy Green, who is a college friend of Art Garfunkel's and lifelong friend. And I think it speaks a great deal to how it is that we get to the space of recognizing that truly darkness can be a friend. Everybody knows the iconic Simon and Garfunkel song, But do you know the amazing story behind the first line of Sounds of Silence? It began 62 years ago when Art Garfunkel, a Jewish kid from Queens, enrolled in Columbia University. During freshman orientation, Art met a student from Buffalo named Sandy Greenberg, and they immediately bonded over their shared passion for literature and music. Art and Sandy became roommates and best friends, and with the idealism of youth, they promised to be there for each other no matter what. Soon after starting college, Sandy was struck by tragedy. His vision became blurry, and although doctors diagnosed it as temporary conjunctivitis, the problem grew worse. Finally, after seeing a specialist, Sandy received the devastating news that severe glaucoma was destroying his optic nerve. The young man with such a bright future would soon be completely blind. Sandy was devastated and fell into a deep depression. He gave up on his dream of becoming a lawyer and moved back to Buffalo, where he worried about being a burden to his financially struggling family. Consumed with shame and with fear, Sandy cut off contact with his old friends, refusing to answer letters or to return phone calls. Then, suddenly, to Sandy's shock, his buddy Art showed up at the front door. He was not going to allow his best friend to give up on life, so he bought a ticket and flew up to Buffalo unannounced. Art convinced Sandy to give college another go and promised that he would be right by his side to make sure he didn't fall, literally or figuratively. Art kept his promise, faithfully escorting Sandy around campus and effectively serving as his eyes. It was important to Art that even though Sandy had been plunged into a world of darkness, he should never feel alone. Art actually started calling himself Darkness to demonstrate his empathy with his friend. He'd say things like, "Darkness is going to read to you now." Art organized his life around helping Sandy. One day, Art was guiding Sandy through crowded Grand Central Station when he suddenly said he had to go and left his friend alone and petrified. Sandy stumbled, he bumped into people, and he fell, cutting a gash in his shin. After a couple of hellish hours, Sandy finally got on the right subway train. And after exiting the station at 116th Street, Sandy bumped into someone who quickly apologized. And Sandy immediately recognized Art's voice. Turned out his trusty friend had followed him the whole way home, making sure he was safe and giving him the priceless gift of independence. Sandy later said that moment was the spark that caused me to live a completely different life, without fear, without doubt. For that, I am tremendously grateful to my friend. Sandy graduated from Columbia. I bet you thought that was the end, wasn't it? So Sandy graduated from Columbia and then earned graduate degrees at Harvard and Oxford. He married his high school sweetheart and became an extremely successful entrepreneur and philanthropist. While at Oxford, before the philanthropy stuff, Sandy got a call from Art. This time, Art was the one who needed help. He'd formed a folk rock duo with his high school pal, Paul Simon, and they desperately needed $400 to record their first album. Sandy and his wife, Sue, had literally $404 in their bank account, but without hesitation, Sandy gave his old friend what he needed. Art and Paul's first album was not a success, but one of the songs, The Sounds of Silence, became a #1 hit a year later. The opening line echoed the way Sandy always greeted Art. Simon and Garfunkel went on to become one of the most beloved musical acts in history. The two Columbia graduates, each of whom has added so much to the world in his own way, are still best friends. Art Garfunkel said that when he became friends with Sandy, my real life emerged. I became a better guy in my own eyes and began to see who I was, somebody who gives to a friend. Sandy describes himself as the luckiest man in the world. So I love that story, and it's completely changed for me the way that I think about Bridge Over Troubled Water. Remember at the top I was saying how much comfort I found in that, how when I listened to it, I heard it being sung to me. I will be there, your bridge over troubled water, at a time when I'm in trouble myself. Listening to it now, having sort of reviewed the story and understanding more about the lives of Simon and Garfunkel, what I recognize is that listening to it from the other point of view, rather than the one listening to the song, but the one singing the song moves me into a space of sort of being that light, right? All of us in our life journeys experience both sides. There are points in our life when we are traversing troubled waters and we need a bridge. And whether that bridge is some beautiful sort of mystical experience of the divine in your own prayer or personal meditation life, or whether that bridge is someone concrete in your life, someone who has supported you and loved you and moved you through it and seen for you a possibility you couldn't see for yourself at the time. We all have those experiences, right, of being supported in that way. And once we move into a space where we can come from a space of healing, right? When there's an energy that we have where we can suddenly begin to give back, we can sort of shift perspective and be the one singing the song. I can be the bridge for others who are going through something traumatic and can't see the light for themselves. I believe that's what we're all called to do, is to stand in a space where we recognize and are vulnerable enough that we can be open to the support of others around us when we might be struggling, when there might be troubled waters that we're traversing. And at the same time, to use the growth that we experience, to use the truth that we know, to be able to be a bridge for others who might be going before us. And what I love about that is it's universally applicable, right? We don't have to be world-famous singer-songwriters to touch lives of thousands in order for us to bring about a spark that's going to be part of that collective healing of the world. It calls us to be that with the folks who are in our lives. It calls us to receive that from the folks that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. It calls us to embody this principle in a way that might be more simple than we ever recognize or realize, but in a way that causes us to be fully present, not only to what we're experiencing ourselves, but fully present to maybe the pain or the suffering or the needs of others, those right in our own midst. Okay, this is a little bit of a commercial before we get to meditation, but we have an opportunity to do that this afternoon. I've recently been named to the board of Evanston Pride. It's a fairly new organization that supports LGBTQI+. I want to get all those in there. And particularly this afternoon, one of their primary goals, one of this organization's primary goals, is to support youth who might be going through their own struggles with sexuality or identity. And so this is their second year of doing a youth car parade. It starts at the high school and has a little route. You can look online, look up Evanston Pride and see the route, and you can come out and cheer. But I heard a story yesterday that kind of broke my heart, because I'm sitting where I am, I sort of feel like it's so much easier for young people these days to come out than it was generations earlier, or certainly before generations before me, and that we could be out there to celebrate. But what I heard today is that it really takes a tremendous amount of courage for a young person, not to necessarily, well, yeah, both, but certainly to be participating in one of the cars that's in the parade. Because suddenly you're making yourself more visible. You're coming out probably to folks who maybe didn't know. And it takes a lot of courage to that. And I hadn't really realized that until talking with the organizers last night. So I think we have an opportunity today as folks who are not only accepting, but who want to really celebrate the journeys of especially the young ones, the young among us who have these lights to share. And we can go and be a part of cheering on the folks who have the courage to be in this parade this afternoon, and to support those who are lining the parade routes. So if you're from Unity on the North Shore, I've sort of picked a meeting point for us at Fountain Square downtown at 1 o'clock. The parade starts at 1. I don't know how long it'll take to get there, so we may be standing around a little bit, but we can party, we can connect, we can get to know each other, and then we can cheer on these beautiful young people who have summoned the courage and the pride to be able to be their complete whole selves, at least in the context on this beautiful day. So come join me at Fountain Square this afternoon if you have time. So with that, what I would love to do is move into a time of meditation that hopefully will evoke in us something deeply personal and immediately accessible, to be able to be both the bridge and to be the one who traverses the bridge, or to remember that we have been the one that traverses the bridge. So as we prepare for this time of meditation, I'm going to ask Felina and Jesse to create a wonderful musical energy that we can meditate in.
We are one heart looking for answers. We're one soul finding our way through the dark. One dream we share together. We are all a part of one heart, one heart, of one heart.
So as we move now into a time of quiet reflection, I invite you to deepen your breath and allow yourself to sink more deeply into the one heart. As you focus your attention on your heart now, see if you can experience a sense of opening, broadening, expansiveness. Breathe in and relax, trusting, knowing, and affirming that truly we are one in heart and mind and in spirit. And into this moment of receptivity, what I would like to encourage you to do is call to mind a time when you were traversing troubled waters, a time when you might have been struggling, experiencing some sort of pain. Might even be a challenge that you're facing right here, right now. And don't go too deeply into the problem of it, the challenge of it. What I would like to focus on instead is the support that you may have received, the love that may have been around you. And if possible, maybe even define one person or call to mind one person that has made a particular difference in your ability to move through this challenge, to know your light, to know your strength. See if you can't experience that sense of being enfolded in love, supported. And then just move into a sense of gratitude. Send them a blessing of thanks, silent blessing of thanks. If you can, picture their face. If you can, imagine giving them a hug or in some way just returning this wonderful sense of love and support that you had experienced at a time when you might have needed it most. And then I invite you to breathe in deeply and breathe out, breathing out only love, enfolding this friend, this angel who supported you in that love. Once more, I invite you to breathe in, and this time invite you to call to mind someone in your own experience, someone around you, someone you've encountered, who might be experiencing some struggle or challenge here and now. And this time I would say it doesn't necessarily have to be an individual person. If there's no one that comes to mind immediately, then Perhaps it's some event or circumstance in the world or on the planet, some group that needs love and support, who could benefit by your shining a light in the darkness that they might be experiencing. And breathe in, and as you're able to kind of be present to whatever their challenge might be, you also sit now in a place filled with gratitude for the ways in which you have been supported, full of strength at having been enfolded in love, that you can now extend that love to this person, to this situation. And as we sit in just a moment of silence, just imagine that you are beaming this beautiful aura of light, this healing light that is actually a beautiful demonstration and expression of the one heart that binds us all. In the quiet now, send this blessing, this healing blessing of light and love to that whom is on your heart. And now as we prepare to bring this time of meditation to a close, we do so affirming that we are open and receptive to the support and love that others extend to us. And that actually gives us strength and power that we might be available to share our love, our light, our blessing to any who cross our paths that might be strengthened and blessed by what we have to give. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Felina. So this is the time in our service when we give and receive our tithes and our offerings. And we've been moving through a little bit of a teaching moment. We're calling it a money moment. And what I've been sharing with you are Prosperity's 10 Commandments as articulated by Georgiana Tree West, an early Unity writer. We're up to 5, the 5th commandment. Anybody remember what it was? Honor thy father and mother. Honor thy father and mother. And what Georgiana Tree West suggests is that that commandment is really about honoring, if we take it literally, is about honoring that which gave us life. In terms of our father and our mother, that as they have literally given us life, they have nurtured us through life, they have taught us and instilled moral values in us, that through that we are to honor that as we move through life and then can begin to return it. We give back to our parents in the way that they have given to us. And she says that's the same thing is true in principle in terms of God. If we want to truly honor God, Father and Mother, if we honor God, then what we want to be doing is giving back to God a portion of all that we receive, so that there's this beautiful flow of abundance and giving and love. So, and of course she gets into how tithing is a part of that beautiful practice. And it really is a beautiful kind of articulation of how it is that we center ourselves in the power of this abundant uniforce, and also make sure that we're in alignment with the principles through which we can bring forth a greater expression of prosperity and abundance at every level of being. So, fifth commandment, giving back to God a portion of all that we receive.
And gratitude and love and light going out, and so what a perfect time to turn to our love offering here at Unity. This is when we think about our own prosperity and giving back to the source of our spiritual food. And giving to Unity is safe and simple. You have lots of different options for how to do that. If you're here in the sanctuary, there is a bowl at the back of this space at the sanctuary. If you're online, there are links and instructions are being posted in the chat for you. You can text the word GIVE to 815-827-6052. You can also give directly online at www.unityns.org, and you just look for that give link. That's pretty common on lots of different websites. Or you can just go ahead and mail a check directly to 3434 Central Street, Evanston, Illinois, 60201. An important way to think about simplifying this is to consider making a recurring gift, which means that you don't have to think about it every single week. You can just set up your giving amount on Tithely app, and this will also avoid any transaction fees that come from using credit cards and so forth through the other means that we mentioned. And you can also set up an automatic payment with your bank's online bill pay feature. It's payment to UNS. So all of those different ways, we've made it as easy as possible for you to share in the abundance of our community through your tithing. And now we would like to make our prosperity statement, where we bless what we've given. And so all together we will say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Please stand as we embrace our prosperity and sing our offertory song.
That I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of loving grace shines upon our face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Thank you, Felina and Jesse. Thank you so much. The service really is so enhanced by the music, and I know that a lot of thought goes into the songs that are chosen for each week, and I've got to say, hearing Felina's voice just fills me with the spirit. It's fantastic. To the live stream team, we couldn't really bring this message to the people out there without you, and give people the option of being safely at home or here in the sanctuary, and you are so talented to do what you do. And to everybody who's here and online, your presence has blessed us. I have just a few announcements to share. The RPH, the Right and Perfect Home update, the site selection subcommittee has been doing its work with Mark Montana, and what that work entails is taking the list of features for the properties that were generated with a lot of work from the community previously, and assessing the different options that have been presented to us using those criteria, and looking for a range of different options from purchasing to renting to shared space, and trying to put that complex picture together. I just wanted to clarify, I'm on the team. Our purpose is not to find the place for everybody, but rather to do that work of assessing the properties so that when we come to some very hopeful options and that bring light and joy and make us think about our future, then we'll bring those options to the board and then communicate those to the wider community. And so it will once again widen out to be a group decision. I think about this sort of hourglass. We had a lot of work by a lot of people. We've narrowed it down to a few people doing a little bit of work, and then we're going to branch it out again and keep everybody involved. Slow and steady progress, guys. It's happening. I just wanted to make sure that you know that. There are also signs in the yard that are about a public meeting on the sale to Kensington School. And if you want to be involved in that meeting, it's at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 22nd at Morton Civic Centre in Evanston. And just to let everybody know that this is just a standard procedure so that the community can know what's happening. This is a large property in a visible space. People are going to want to know what's happening. So that's what that particular meeting's all about. We have a new membership discernment class that's coming up online. It's a 2-session program, and the sessions will be happening on June 10th and June 17th between 5:30 and 7 p.m. So if you've been attending Unity, you want to know more about Unity, you've been thinking about becoming a member, but you haven't yet made that step, this is your opportunity. It's even if you feel like you're very familiar with Unity principles, it's a really wonderful opportunity to take a class with some other people and with Reverend Kurt, and to make that spiritual discernment to join this particular community. And the link to register is on the UNS website.
Melissa, small correction, it's next month. It's July 7th.
Oh, it's July.
Yeah, probably got the wrong dates there.
Yeah. Well, you have even more time to plan for it now, and more announcements will be made coming up. Okay. There is a date for our fall fundraising gala, which will be back in person this year. How wonderful is that? The date is Saturday, October 15th, and please contact Persephone in the office if you'd like to help plan and organise this event, and for sure, get it in your calendar so it doesn't get blocked out by anything else that's going to obviously be less important than coming to the gala. We have our regular garden chat online, will be today at 5 p.m, led by Sharon Myers, who does an amazing job of linking together conversations about food and the lesson today. What could be better than that? The Zoom link is also on our website. And I think that's it. I think I made it through my list. Thank you so much. And now Felina will lead us through our peace song, and Priscilla will come back with our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take
each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And now let us say our powerful prayer for protection. The words are on the screen. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Thank you, everyone. Let us enjoy this bright, sunny day.